And now, your host, Sherri Shepherd.
Wowzer. Oh my gosh. Hey, family. John Murray.
Hello. It's a titillating Thursday. That's a new one for me because I hadn't used the word titillating on the show yet.
Titillating Thursday.
And we're live out of New York City. We got a great show today.
You over there hitting those 4-syllable words.
You know what
All right now.
You know what I'm saying.
Go ahead. You know, we're in a good mood. We didn't get much sleep, but we were out. John and I were out in the streets last night. And we went to a really fun event. We went to the 1-year anniversary of Alicia Keys' Tony-winning musical, Hell's Kitchen. We did. Can I tell you, and so anytime Willie gets to pull out sequins, he is like, come on, sis. So, so he pulled out the sequins and we went and did the blue carpet. But when I tell you, I've never seen Hell's Kitchen before. And it is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. Now, Tank came here last week. And Tank, he plays Davis, the father of the main character. He was great. Tank, your voice, I always loved your voice. When we, and he just go, but your voice is like a warm hug on that Broadway stage. And Jade Milan, who played the lead role, which is loosely based on Alicia Keys, was also incredible. Just the entire cast. And after the show, Alicia Keys, actually, her and Swizz Beatz were there. She got on stage. And I loved it because she just was in awe and she was reminiscing about how this came to be and when her first time on stage and the fact that this show has won Tonys and it was there a year later, still going strong. So everybody gave her a hand and we were just screaming. But the thing I couldn't get over was Alicia Keys had this form-fitting cat suit. And I tell you, she had this cat suit on and she had this beautiful long leather coat and her boots. And when I tell y'all that coat looked so expensive, it looked like if you touched it, it would melt in your fingers. That leather coat, you could tell it was like butter. And then she had this chain, this huge, the chain was so huge, it looked like she had paid $23 million in an art museum for it. Like this was part of artwork. It looked so expensive. I've never wanted to snatch somebody's chain and run. I wanted to snatch it and just take off running. Her outfit, and I kept looking at her because sometimes people just inspire you, and I was so inspired with this cat suit she had on. It reminded me of a cat suit I had bought about 7 years ago. And you know how, ladies, you'll buy clothes that don't fit, and you go, one day. And you like, it might be 12 years or 20 years, but one day. And you will not get rid of it. You will not give it away because I'm telling you, another 10 years, I'm gonna be able to. So I went in the archives of my one-day outfits and I pulled out my cat suit because after seeing Alicia Keys, I tried that sucker on at 2:21 a.m. When I tell you at 2:21, that's when I lose the most weight, at 2:21. Not before, not after. And I put it on at 2:21. Now, it was hard for me to get on. It was really hard. I had to have the assistance of my girlfriends, Girdle and Spanx. And I didn't care if it didn't fit. I zipped that sucker up so tight and held it in my stomach so tight. But I recreated that look and I wore it to work today. I wore that sucker when I tell you. and after I took it off, I was in so much pain after I unzipped that thing. You ever put on a one-day outfit and then you can't get it off? Your arms are stuck. I kept saying, somebody come help me pull this thing off. Only thing I couldn't get was the chain. And I said, I'm gonna have to go on Poshmark and get a dupe of that daggone chain. I get one of them, the cheap chains. But when I tell you though, going back to Hell's Kitchen, it was so much fun. And we got to, you got to see celebrities. And we sat behind legendary, iconic sisters, Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad. When I tell you I love these two, and it's literally like having two mothers there, two of your mothers there. Felicia's hair, she's got this beautiful silver hair. And then, and she's very soft-spoken. And then Debbie Allen was there moving her shoulders, just moving her, and she was dancing and she was mouthing all the lyrics to the words. And I just was like, I just kept staring at the back of their necks. Like, and then Felicia speaks softly. If you saw her on my show, she's very soft, very cultured speaker. Debbie's a little louder. So I said, I was trying to find out how long Felicia's play, because she's directing a play called Purpose, which is another amazing play right across the street. Right across the street, it's called Purpose. So I wanted to know how long it was going. And I said, I can't talk soft. And I said, Felicia! And I'm so ghetto. I said, how long your play going? And she said, well, darling, it's going to. And her voice kept getting softer and softer. And I was like, I can't understand. Debbie goes, child, it's going till November. And I said, it's going to November. I love those two together, just watching them. Oh my goodness. So Alicia, I just have to say Hell's Kitchen was a 10 out of 10. If you've never seen Hell's Kitchen, go and see it.
And the music and the production, quick shout out to Adam Blackstone. He did all the music for it. They came in and reconfigured the sound of this theater. It's music like you've never heard of. The bass is all up in your chest.
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Kudos. He does the Grammys and the Oscars. He's the music director for Super Bowl everything.
He did a great job. The dancers, like you literally are on the edge of his seat and you can't breathe. So go see Hell's Kitchen and then go right across the street to see Purpose, Felicia Rashad's play. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's caption crunch time. Y'all hit it. So here's today's caption crunch photo. It is Danielle Brooks trying to steal my man Lenny Kravitz. I know I did break up with Lenny Kravitz, but it's the girlfriend code. It's still an X on it. Everybody still gotta leave him alone. So you gotta scan the QR code or go to our Instagram page and write your funniest captions, and then we're gonna read them later on in the show. All right, and so do that, and then I might read one of the funniest ones, okay? And we have a great show for you today. Because up next, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan and the cast of Sinners are right here. Sherri will be right back. Let me tell you something. My first guests are all box office beasts who know how to make movie magic. Now, the latest film, Sinners, is a supernatural horror film, sure to keep us all on the edge of our seats. So please welcome the cast of Sinners: Michael B. Jordan, Hailee Steinfeld, Wunmi Mosaku, Delroy Lindo, Caton, and the director, Ryan Coogler.
I think I've seen
They
it.
are.
They are fly.
It's because everybody in the family has been waiting for y'all to come. They have been waiting for you. And when I say waiting, like, because when I first talked about Sinners, everybody's been waiting for you to come and talk about this, the most fabulous movie. Ryan, I have to say, you know, when I saw Fruitvale Station, I was crying. When I saw Creed and Black Panther, I was cheering. When I saw Sinners, I was screaming. I was, like, you gotta tell me, what was in your whole psyche that you said, I wanna scare people?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I mean, honestly, I love scary movies. And nobody really knew that about me except my closest homies, you know? So,
Really?
Yeah, like my family loves them. My dad's favorite movie was Rocky. But his second favorite movie was Halloween, like John Carpenter's Halloween.
Okay, two different.
Yeah. So you know, we were known for like going to Blockbuster, renting as many scary movies as we could get, going home, watching them, all my homies, all my cousins, and seeing who would tap out first, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a big passion of mine to make a film that could have the audience on the edge of their seat, but also could give a lot of other things, man. It's this beautiful cast. They bring so many different emotions, so many different flavors to it, and it's a chance for me to get the best people I know in the business to make something and deliver it to the audience.
And messages non-stop. Like, literally, I was sitting there and I kept, and when I scream, I'm like, oh! In the depths of my soul.
That's good.
And that's why when I was saying that we have been waiting for you to get here just to talk about it, and excitement.
Yeah.
But, you know, Michael, this, I believe, is the 5th time that you and Ryan have worked together.
Yes, ma'am.
So, like, you know, when he calls you, do you not even read the script? You just say yes, whatever it is Ryan calls you about?
It's usually a yes up front, and then let me read the script afterwards. You know what I'm saying? But this was like one of the fastest reads I've had. You know, it read really well. You know, I was really excited about it. I had some reservations because I don't really like scary movies.
You don't like scary movies?
I don't. I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to horror.
Oh my God.
But I figured if I would make one, it kind of take a little bit of the fear away from it, you know what I'm saying? But we ended up laughing so much on set. We had a really great time making this movie.
I did not get laughed in, not one, because if you were scared to make them, you sure scared me. You scared the hell out of me. And just watching everybody. Hailee, oh my gosh, I said to you, I've never seen you in a role like this in The Sinners. Like, you really had to step out, I'm assuming. Did you have to step out of your comfort zone to do this character?
I absolutely did. I feel like it was an equal amount of stepping out of my comfort zone and stepping further into myself.
Yeah.
This role brought me closer to my family history. Part of my research entailed understanding more about just that and having these amazing conversations with my mom about my grandfather who was half black.
First of all, when you walked in the room, I was like, who's that black lady talking? You! Like, you had it, so what is this? So it, like, kind of embodied your family history as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just reading this script and then going that route and understanding what he may have had to go through, my ancestors have had to go through, this just opened my eyes to so many things, and I really believe that this movie will serve as fun and as scary and as crazy as it is as such an important conversation starter for so many people.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, you really stepped in it. You did that, girl.
Thank you.
Now, Wunmi, you, my dear, you are a horror movie veteran, okay? When I tell you, I love it, you in Lovecraft country. You, But I did not know you were British. Now, I know people ask you this all the time. I'm just regular. How the heck you hide your accent in this movie?
You know, we had such a great dialect coach in Beth, and so I kept my accent on set a lot of the time, like the whole time. I was too scared to like drop it because then you can hear the not seamless part, you know, when you're going between your accents. I kept it on at home as well.
So you became that woman at home. You never dropped it where your real accent came forward.
Yeah, my mom was a little bit freaked out by that. Who is this?
Who is this? And Delroy Lindo. Oh my God. Delroy Lindo. Say Delroy, you have to say Delroy Lindo. That's how great you are. Like, and so now you can add Sinners to your long list of movies. Over your 30-plus year career, Mr. Lindo. When I tell you, and y'all know that's not an easy feat. Like 30 years and you're still as relevant as when you started. How does it feel having all that longevity?
Gratifying, but it helps that filmmakers such as Ryan and this kind of a cast are still excited to include me in this kind of work, and that I get to do this kind of work.
Ryan just has that. I'm not gonna lie. Who you decide to cast, Ryan, is so it makes everything, the magic, just flow. I mean, I don't know what goes through your mind when you go, I want to cast certain people, because I talked about this star in the making right here, Miles Caton, and I want to say I was watching Sinners and I kept saying, who is this? I was blown away by your performance, Miles. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, who is this? You ain't even got a Wikipedia page. I was like, who is this? And you affected me in so many ways in the messages that you had in the movie pertaining to your character. I don't know what it feels like to know that everybody in Hollywood is gonna be knocking on your door. Is that overwhelming for you to know that?
I think I'm in such a unique position, and this is something that I prayed for. I've been working hard, and I've been building up to this moment, so I'm here.
Oh my gosh, you are here, and you're here to stay. And y'all made such an impact. I wasn't the only one screaming, but y'all made such an impact on people when they went to see an early portion. And thank you for, because normally they send screeners to me at home, but you said, I need you to see this at the IMAX. And thank you for that, because it was just a different experience. But there was a certain legend that shared his opinion on Instagram when he went to see it, y'all. Take a look right here.
Michael B. Jordan and the cast of the movie Sinners. I just seen a sneak peek preview of the movie. My God, movie of the year. Ryan Coogler, great director, great storyline. It's a must-see. This is phenomenal. So says Snoop Dogg.
We had to bleep out a lot of words. But Miles, how does it feel getting high praise from Snoop?
Oh man, Snoop is a legend. Actually, I did a video that went viral like a long time ago.
Yes.
And Snoop Dogg was the first person, like the first rapper to post my video.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so it's like a full circle.
It's full circle.
A full circle moment.
For sure.
And you, Ryan, he gave you 2 blunts up in the air, Snoop. How does that feel seeing that?
I mean, that's my California OG. You feel me? Like the Bay and Long Beach, we got a connection, and he always there for me. You know, it's been that way for a long time, and he a real movie head. So it's like all the people who I really wanted to see early, I was able to show it to him, because for me this movie is we made it big. We shot it on IMAX film cameras. We shot on 65mm Panavision cameras, the biggest format possible. First time a movie's been done like this in the history of cinema.
Oh, wow.
With these 2 formats. And I really wanted them to go experience it. People who love movies, I want them to go get out, go see it with other people, see it in a big packed house. Our industry is going through a rough patch right now with all the advances in streaming and folks not wanting to leave the house and getting trained to stay at home and look at stuff on their phones. You know, so we're trying to break out of that for this one. You know, and you know, I want Spike to see it. I want Snoop to see it. A couple other homies wanted you to see it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really been great to hear the response.
I can't watch this on regular television. You have got to be in IMAX and see this to get the full effect of what you were trying to do. Now, y'all, please stick around, because the cast of Sinners is sticking around. And up next, we're diving even deeper into this incredible movie. Don't miss it. Sherri will be right back. And we are back with the cast: Michael B. Jordan, Hailee Steinfeld, Wunmi Mosaku, Delroy Lindo, Miles Caton, and director Ryan Coogler. Now, Ryan, you wrote and you directed Sinners, and I remembered you said it was inspired by your family. And I gotta ask you this: how messed up is your family that you made a vampire biopic about them? Do your cousins realize what you have said about them?
I mean, I got clearance from everybody, you know.
Okay.
I gave them the heads up. But like I said, we movie fans, man. We really watch as a family, and we love scary movies, man. And my cousins, my aunts, uncles, you know, my grandma, they all honored, you know. And the movie isn't just vampires, right?
No, not at all.
It comes from a relationship that I had with my eldest uncle, my Uncle James, who passed away in 2015. All he would listen to is blues music, and he was from Mississippi. And he would talk about his life, and you know, whenever that music was playing, and after I lost him, I would play the records to kind of remember him. And sometimes I feel like I was conjuring his spirit, and that was where it came from. Man, I also had two crazy older cousins, you know, and a little bit of this was inspired by that. You know, I'm excited to show it to them. But yeah, man, it was all made with fun and love, you know.
I do want to say, it. You know, we talk about it being a vampire, like, kind of biopic, but it also has so many messages layered through it that, you know, you got this message that was so beautiful and so poignant, and then you still was like, oh, the vampires is coming. So, you know, Michael, watching you played twins, Smoke and Stack. Okay, what's your favorite part about playing twins? Like that, you know, and?
I mean, the challenge of it all, I think normally you build one character and you kind of, you know, you have that arc, you arc that person throughout, that character throughout the movie. This time I had 2.5, you know, characters to arc out through this movie, and you'll know what I mean when you watch it. But I just think the challenge and the duality of both of them, you know, they're so different, but, you know, but the same person in the same way. So it was just challenging. It was a real challenge. I like challenges.
Was there anybody that helped you coordinate that? Because there were aspects of Smoke and Stack. You were like, they're almost one person, but everything was very specific and different.
Yeah, just doing research and a deep dive on twins in general was very enlightening, you know, and so unique. You know, Ryan had a couple buddies of his that are twins. Noah and Logan, and being able to just pick their brains, hear the stories that they were telling, you know, of them growing up, all the mischief they used to get into. And you know, Coog tells a story sometimes of how, you know, when they're in the room, they would always sit next to each other. You know what I'm saying? But if they're really trying to mess with you, you know what I'm saying, get in your head, they would separate and see which way you kind of gravitated toward. You know what I'm saying?
Playing with you psychologically.
Exactly, and that's kind of what we wanted to do in this film a little bit too. You know, there's a point in the movie where, you know, they're not around each other as much, and you kind of see them struggle and adapt to those situations. And it's try not to give anything away, but it's pretty.
Well, I love without giving anything away, Smoke and Stack. You had two different romantic leads, you know, because you were playing the twins.
That is a fact.
Okay, so the two romantic leads were played by Hailee and Wunmi. Okay, so y'all, what was it like playing Michael's love interest?
I mean, it was like,
I did get the fun one.
You got the fun one. But I got the deep, like, thoughtful, you know. It's so funny because I remember on the camera test, I was doing my camera test with Smoke, and he went off to change, and I was turning around, and then someone came up behind me, and I was like, who is that stranger? And I turned around, and it was Stack. And it was so clear as day that was not my man. That was Stack.
That was Stack.
That was Stack.
There were so many elements in the centers. Like, Miles, the one thing I gotta say about you, your singing took my breath away as I watched you. And I saw your face, and I said, I kept going, this is a baby, you know? But your spirit, you got like an old soul in a loving way. And I said, as you were singing, I said, this ain't a baby, this is a man right here. Has singing always been your passion, Miles?
Yeah, I come from a very musical family. I grew up singing in church, and you know, everything's kind of been a stepping stone. So I've been, you know, touring with her since I was 16.
With the artist Her,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just been everything's been leveling up since then.
You know, it's so funny because you say you got your mama in the audience too. I love a man to bring their mama to the show. Mama's in a mama. But I love it because you talk about, you know, you sang with her, but you also sang gospel. There's a lot of people here that know you from the gospel. But you had, and I'm not giving nothing away, but you had a little bit of an intimate scene. What your mama say about the scene? And I'm not even going, but it was nice and intimate. How your mama deal with that?
I'm grown.
Mama,
Love you, Mama.
I'm grown. And like, and Delroy, your character, this Jasmine, it was so many levels you were playing and so many emotions you were drawing out of me. Like, I'm with you, I'm scared for you, I'm screaming for you. Like, what was it like, all of the levels that you had to play for your character?
A lot of it was what Ryan presented to me. There was wonderful depth in the character in terms of what he had written. And when Ryan offered this to me, and he and I spoke, that was the point of departure, just in terms of how he talked about the music, how he talked about the history of the music, and his love for these people.
You know, Ryan, you and Michael, y'all have been making movies since you did Fruitvale Station. When we saw you in Fruitvale Station, and like, we got this photo that was 12 years ago.
Oh, man.
When you were doing Fruitvale Station. What, you know, from that point, 12 years ago, what's the biggest change that you two have seen in each other and the growth that you've seen?
Man, biggest change? Man. I mean, he a father now with 2 kids.
A father with 2 kids, a whole different perspective.
I got a couple of kids, and we met. I didn't have a house. I was living in my little brother's room. Yeah. I was Keenan's roommate. So I mean, truthfully, it's actually an honor to see how much hasn't changed. You know, like because he's a global movie star now. I can open a movie and the face of franchises, and I just found out he got a bar in New York that he owned for 7 years.
You got a bar in New York and I've never been?
I'm sorry.
He just
whenever you want, come on through.
He's just like a mogul now. But when I talk to him, it's about his niece and nephew. It's about his mom. It's about how his dad is doing, about how his sister's doing, how his brother's doing.
Yeah.
So you know, still family oriented, still humble, still all about the work. And that's who he was when we met when we were kids, you know. And so it's been an honor to see like what hasn't changed. You know, that's the truth.
I just want to say it is truly, and Delroy got on me before, I'll use this word, it has truly been an honor for you guys to come here on my show and talk about this phenomenal movie, The Sinner. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Michael, because when you came on here to promote Creed, you said you were going to come back, and you kept your word, and I thank you for that. And I want to tell y'all, Sinners is in theaters Friday, April 18th. Do not wait. You have got to go see this in IMAX. It is something you will not forget. It is absolutely amazing. So run, don't walk, and we'll be right back. Sinners. Sherri will be right back. Autism Awareness Month, and as a mother of a son on the spectrum, it's important to be informed and knowledgeable about things that affect my son Jeffrey. So here to help us navigate life and to find answers to help someone with special developmental needs is autism advocate Ariva Martin. Ariva, you know what, it's so many things that I just didn't know. I didn't know that 1 in 36 children in the U.S. has autism. And but I do know there's so many misconceptions about autism. Can you break it down for us?
Well, the reality, Sherri, is that most people, what they know about autism, they learned in the media. They've seen a movie, they've seen a series on television. But most people don't know the amazing things that people with autism can do. Children with autism, adults with autism, like your son Jeffrey, my son Marty, they're just like everybody else. Yeah. They want to love, they want to learn, they want to go to school, they want to get a job, they want to live in community. They learn differently. They have special needs. And we as a community, when we learn how to teach them, and we learn how to get into their world, we can then see them thrive in ways that are just incredible.
Okay, I love. Now I know you've been an advocate for a long time, for years. What led you to working, you know, to get to work on autism?
Okay, you're dating me, Sherri, but
okay, I didn't mean to do it that way, girl.
But my son, Marty.
Yeah.
You have Jeffrey, I have Marty. Marty was diagnosed with autism when he was 2. I'm a civil rights lawyer. I thought this would be a walk in the park, right? I can figure out everything I needed to for Marty because I'm a lawyer. I run a law firm. Boy, was I wrong. I was so devastated by the diagnosis. So many questions, not a lot of answers. Google get millions and millions of hits online. So much stuff was wrong, so much misinformation, disinformation. So I had to just throw myself in. I had to learn everything I could about autism, what it meant, how to get Marty a good education, how to get him medical care, how to build a life for him. I had two daughters already, so I knew how to parent my neurotypical kids, but I had to learn how to be a good parent to Marty, and that's what led me to advocacy for not just him, but for others.
Yeah, it's, thank you for that. Because that's something I struggle with all the time of going, I just don't know how to navigate this thing. And am I doing the right thing by Jeffrey? And I connected with you.
Yes.
I remember connecting with you after I found out about your special needs network. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so part of my advocacy work, I took a sabbatical from my law practice. I wrote a book called The Everyday Advocate on autism, and then I started the Special Needs Network. We started in a cubicle in my law firm with a volunteer. My secretary was the first volunteer. Now we have over 500 employees. We have 6 offices throughout the state of California. We have this free summer camp that Jeffrey participated in last summer. We have a state-of-the-art autism center, the only in the state of California that's in South Los Angeles, in the heart of Los Angeles's Black and brown community that provides direct services, interventions, speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavior therapy to children, literally from the time they get a diagnosis until they are young adults.
And that's the thing. I love that you and I know what it took to create this state-of-the-art facility in the inner city. And it's hard for parents, Ariva, because it's you don't know where to turn. Like it can be overwhelming in so many families. And I'm over here in this position, and I was completely overwhelmed of, how do you find the resources? And the fact that you created this is all of the resources in one place. Does that happen with a lot of parents?
We all feel completely overwhelmed. We all, at times, feel alone. There's a lot of isolation. A lot of parents, because of the stigma, won't talk about it. They won't share what's happening with their child, which is why I am so personally grateful to you and to your bestie, Kim Whitley, for introducing us, because when you use your huge platform to talk about it, you destigmatize it. You make it okay for other people to talk about it. And that is so important.
Thank you. It just, having a child with autism, it's hard because there were signs early on that I knew as a parent something is not right. But I know there were people in my life that said that boy is fine. You got to pray about it. He's fine. You got to expect more. And I felt like the crazy one. But if we see signs early on, how do we speak up? How do we find those resources?
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because in the Black and brown community, kids are typically diagnosed 4 to 5 years later than their white counterparts. And a lot of it is because of what you just said. When my son Marty wasn't talking at 2.5, people told me, oh, boys talk, it takes them longer to talk than girls. Even my own husband's mom, she's deceased, I love her, she's a great grandmother, but she said, Ernest, my husband, he didn't talk until he was older, and look at him now, he's talking. So a lot of times people prevent us from getting a diagnosis because they tell us there's nothing wrong, we can pray about it, give them some hot lemon water, all kinds of wives' tales that people come up with. But the reality is, getting a diagnosis of autism is not a death sentence. So I want people to know, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it, because all it means is that your child learns differently, has some differences, and if you get services, if you get early intervention in that period between like 0 to 5, you can see your child go off to college. I have a young man working for us. He has 2 college degrees. And he's on the spectrum.
And I think, and I think about, because my son was diagnosed at about 17. Had I known earlier, it might have been different, but I don't pay attention to that. We move forward with that. But at 19 years old, he's past the cute phase. And I say past the cute phase because when you're younger, people go, oh, I got patience with you. I want to help you. Oh, you're so cute. Now he's 19. He looks like a grown man. It's very, very different. And I know the study showed that there's an increase in autism diagnosis among young adults. So how do parents deal with it's a whole different season. We got a 19-year-old dealing with all of this stuff.
Hormones raging.
And he on the spectrum. So how do parents deal with that?
There are differences, absolutely. When you're young, early intervention, a lot of services and resources target to young kids.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, society hasn't caught up as much as it should. So you don't have as many resources and services. That's why we started the Culinary Arts Program at Special Needs Network to teach young people how to work in the culinary arts and hospitality field.
Yeah, I told that boy he gonna learn how to cook. I'm not cooking anymore.
We got a food truck, so when he comes this summer, he'll have an opportunity to work on that food truck. Because young people have different issues. They got to get jobs. If they're a boy, they want a girlfriend. If they're a girl, they want a girlfriend. They want relationships, whoever they want to have a relationship with, right? They want to have a relationship. A lot of them want to get married. They want to have families. But there are issues of safety and security, and that has to be paramount for families. And sometimes parents may have to decide to do a conservatorship because their child might appear neurotypical. They may have a lot of great skills, but their decision-making, their reasoning, their discernment is off, and they may not be able to protect themselves. And people will see their vulnerabilities and will exploit them and take advantage of it. So it's really important for parents to assess how independent can my child be? And if they can be independent, then you got to give them some independence, Mom. I know it's hard and sometimes it's challenging, but you got to let them grow up because Jeffrey is 19 and he wants to do everything that every other 19-year-old wants to do, from rap concerts to video games to going on trips with his friends.
Girl, he went to one rap concert. He said, Mom, it smelled funny the whole concert. I was like, oh my gosh. But, and that's another thing parents have to worry about. Like, how much do you push your kids? How much? I have Jeffrey riding the train back and forth to school. He takes the Uber by himself. But, I love that you said that. And for me, I am pursuing guardianship because they are very vulnerable. I don't want anybody to take advantage of my son. I just thank you for coming. I need you to come back and talk.
Thank you for having me.
About this some more in Special Needs Network. But it's just so funny because I love you so much, Ariva, because you do so much for the autism community and you put a lot of your life on hold for this. And I reached out to my friends at Five Below since they are the ultimate store for kids and they got the best sensory toys and games for everybody at unbeatable prices. And they got a surprise for you. So bring that on in for Ariva. You can use this at your camp. You can use this at the camp that the kids
so
come
much.
to.
Yes, we can't wait for Jeffrey to come back. You and Jeffrey are part of the Special Needs Network family forever.
Thank you.
Because community is so important, and we are building that community. And thank you for helping us build that community, not just in California, but across the country.
Well, you built his self-esteem he was a camp counselor, and his self-esteem just went out, definitely helping. And I love that your camp is free.
It's free
for
for
the kids.
parents, yes.
But
Kids.
Ariva, that's not all. They are also, Five Below is also giving the Special Needs Network $10,000. Got $10,000 for you, Mommy, that we wanted to. Because I am just so blown away. Like at the camp, you created a free program for kids, and the parents just kept saying, I can go to work and I can trust that my child will be okay during the summer. That just touched my heart so much. So thank you, Ariva. Thank you so much for being here and for what you do. For more info on Ariva's Special Needs Network, go to sherryshowtv.com. We'll be right back. Ariva Marshall. Sherry will be right back. All the fun, joy, and laughter of Sherri is available anytime online. Celebrity interviews, full episodes, exclusives, and more. It's all at sherryshowtv.com. It's Caption Crunch time, and I asked my Sherri family to caption this photo. So first, Sanujai39 wrote, girl, what in the thruplin is going on up in here? Well, I say, Sanujai, three's a crowd, and I do not share. Next, the Miss Katie434 wrote, did you just kiss my husband without my permission? Well, I tell you, it looks like Lenny is the one doing the kissing. I think Lenny and I need to talk about some boundaries. And finally, Lolo the Ninja wrote, when you find out that you and your girl have the exact excellent taste in men. Okay? So now I gotta watch my back around Danielle too? Damn. Thank you for your captions. We'll be right back. Sherri will be right back. If you want to see more of my interview with the cast of Sinners, you are in luck. Go to my YouTube channel to watch the extended interview where the cast gives flowers to the legendary Delroy Lindo. Now scan the QR code on your screen, subscribe to Sherri Show TV on YouTube so you don't miss this exclusive content. We'll be right back. Sherri will be right back. Tomorrow from The Handmaid's Tale, Yvonne Strahovski is going to be here, plus R&B superstar John B. So join us then for the best time in daytime. Bye-bye.